Hey guy, relationships are really, really hard. But why? Why is that the case? We, as humans, evolved to be like this social species that like literally need social cohesion in order to, survive. So why would it be the case that we find such a difficult time being in relationships? But we're all in relationships, right? Like I looked up this quick data point from Pew Research. I'll put up the graph here if I decide to edit this video. But yeah, 69% of Americans are partnered and only 31% are single, with 15% looking and 15% not looking. So many of us are in relationships, and it's not even like this is just romantic relationships. Past romantic relationships, we're all in like familiar relationships, friendships, co-worker relationships, acquaintances. Like we all have relation. I hate how the glare in my glasses reflects back. Like, can you see my OBS through the? Anyways, we all have relationships. Why do we find them so difficult, or why are they so difficult? Um, I used to have this saying as a couple years ago, and it used to go, people aren't that difficult because generally we want the same things. Like, I feel as though we all generally want the same things, we just tend to go about it in different ways. The analogy I thought about while I was in the car driving here thinking about making this video was, imagine there's a magnet and each one of us is like these like little metal pieces, right? The magnet is ultimately our desire, what we generally want, and like you let the little metal pieces go and they have a different trajectory. Jesus Christ, they have a different trajectory to get to the big magnet, and those trajectories might be different, and they might be, metal piece might be further away and the other one might be closer, but the point being, we're going to the same magnet all of the same. Like, we're generally going in the same direction. We all get hungry, we all have our desires, we all generally want things. Like, if I were to say murder bad, I wouldn't assume that most of you would disagree with me vehemently in the comments. Like, even when we get to like basic moral discussions, for the most part, we want the same things. Like, Alex O'Connor had an interesting video about this where like the people debating gun violence, generally the idea is we want less innocent people to die. The people that are against guns being in the country are like, well, if people have guns, innocent people are going to die. And the people that are for guns being in the country, well, are saying, well, if the proper people don't have guns, then they're going to die and they're innocent people. Like, the goal is, the magnet is that we all don't want innocent people to die. Um, all that to say, we generally, I believe we generally want the same things. So why is it that it's so hard to gauge what other people want from us in relationships? Um, I think my initial notion that we all generally want the same thing, so people in general aren't that difficult to figure out, is partially true, which is another way of saying I was half wrong. um, I think there's another half of that equation that goes, people are generally simple when it's not you. So you ever been in a situation where a friend comes to you for advice on like a romantic partner or another friendship or something, and they start explaining the situation to you, and then you obviously go, well, that's simple. You just do A, B, and C. And they're like, no, but it's more complicated than that. And you're like, no, it's not. You just do A, B, and C. Why would it be more complicated? And it really isn't that complicated, but to them it is. And if you were in that situation, it would be as complicated to you. These are like, it's subjective experiences are subjective for a reason. There's no like objective thing that you can place on it. Like, we the situation is difficult because we are in it, if that makes sense. Like, if it was somebody else's situation, same parameters, we would be able to pretty much solve it. At least most reasonable people would be able to solve it. I find this in my own life a lot of the time. Like, my mother always tells me, you're very good at identifying and solving other people's problems, but when it comes to your own, there's where the mix up happens. And I can tell you sort of, at least my hypothesis as to why this happens. It's because we have a lot of feelings about the matter. Obviously, feelings don't let us think straight, and like, I don't even say that to be like a negative thing, really, because without the feeling, it would be so boring. This is what I don't like about Stoicism as a philosophy. Like, I feel like every time I look at the camera, the glare pops up into my glasses and like all you see is my OBS. Anyways, it wouldn't be like stoicism is the idea that if you people have a very messed up idea of stoicism, but generally what I understand it to be is that you try to level out your emotions. It's not that you don't try to feel anything, it's that you make it so you don't try to experience the very high highs, so then you avoid the very low lows. You try to stay mellow at all times. You give things a middle ground, decent emotional approach, and you try not to go any higher or any lower. So, for example, if you just won the lottery, a stoic would be like, well, those are otherworldly possessions, and it's very cool that I have money now, but I'm gonna put my expectations down to a medium pace, and I'm not gonna get too excited, and I'm gonna go on chugging along like nothing happened. And if there's someone dies, it's the same mentality. Like, that was really sad that that happened, and I feel really sorry for whoever died, but I'm gonna try to keep my mind leveled and my emotions leveled. That's the Stoic philosophy, and it works. It works to battle depression and anxiety because obviously you're never experiencing these very high, tense emotions that come with life and come with very high highs and very low lows. It's just so boring. It's so boring because, like, that's the whole point. No, like everyone like we even make jokes and memes about like how relatable these like very high highs and very low lows are in relationships. That's what kind of makes them worthwhile. So that's why I don't subscribe to stoicism, but that's also why things are so difficult when you're in relationships. And I've been like mainly talking about romantic relationships, but it's not even that, it's friendships. I saw this video once by this YouTuber. Coke Zero is so good. He talked about how friendships are actually probably more valuable than romantic relationships, as I think it's like a like 50-55%, if I'm not mistaken, or around that, of marriages fail. And that's just like the reported marriages, like the divorce rates. Like, people decide to get divorced way before they actually get divorced. So I'm assuming the number is a lot higher. The point being, people get divorced a lot and relationships usually just don't work out. Um but friendships are very consistent in a way where I don't think people rely on their friends as much, for as much as they do partners, and I'm guilty of this as well. I place a lot more emotional investment and expectation on like a partner as I would a friend, and I think that's in large part due to social engineering, like the movies that we watch and the shows that we watch that make it so like you feel as though a romantic relationship is much more, it's much larger than a friendship would be. But friendships are very consistent for a very long time, and usually, like, let's say a relationship doesn't work out, who's the first people you turn to? It's your friends. Like your friends are much more consistent, and for the most part a much larger part of your life than I think you realize. And I think if you were to objectively look at your life, take like some of the emotion out of it, and like let's say you get a bird's eye view, you're like, well, these people that you call your friend, like let's say you're an alien and you're looking at your life, like you swapped bodies with an alien. The alien's now living your life, and you look down at yourself and you're like, well, you spend much more time with these people that you call friends than with this person that you call a girlfriend or a boyfriend. Why do you like this girlfriend or boyfriend more than your friends when they're there for the most part more than the, obviously I know that's like there's nuance to it, but the point being that even with friendships, it's just so hard. It's just so hard to like track what the other person is feeling, to communicate what you're feeling. Communication really is just very difficult, and this is coming from someone that's good at communication. Like, I like talking clearly. Like, this is fun for me. But even me, like, the problem becomes, especially like with people that like to have conversations, if you meet someone that doesn't like to have conversations, it's very, very difficult. Um it's also more emotionally vulnerable people, uh like me, tend to have emotional reactions to things before they can get their thoughts in order. And that's really bad. Because it it instills a it instills a response in the other person that is always it's you versus me now. And in any relationship, that shouldn't be the case. We should be teammates. This is like a joint effort. We're in this together. That's why we have tribes and connect and do things together, because we're better when we work together. If we feel like we're fighting each other, that's really bad. That means we're not teammates anymore. We're enemies, and usually we don't want those because nothing gets done if we're enemies. Like there's no productive place that goes. Um but yeah, it's just so difficult. I don't know where I'm going with this video other than just like explaining like how um relationships are so hard. I guess I should try to like move into a place where I'm like, well, like you can do these things to fix it, but like everyone knows what you have to do to fix it. Like obviously you have to you have to one, identify what you're feeling, try to not blow up at the other person, but still feel the things you feel, give it names, identify it, and then once you've calmed down, analyze what you feel, try to communicate properly with the intent of coming together as a team, and then you talk to the other person and try to resolve the issue. Like obviously, like everyone kind of like even intuitively, like they kind of know that that's the case, that that's what you're supposed to do. But it just becomes so hard to remember that when you're pissed off. Like it's just so difficult. It's just so hard. And then also it comes the case where like things seem so much more difficult. Like reaching out seems like almost like rocket science sometimes, when really all you have to do is reach out, but then pride gets in the way, and emotions get in the way. And it's not even like it's invalid, it's very valid because it's what you're feeling at the time, and your emotions are valid in a way, but you have to kind of rein them in because at a certain point they become unproductive. um yeah, no, it's just a lot. It's just so much. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. I should I feel like I should end off with like a solution of some sort. But like I said, we already all know the solution. But I guess just knowing how difficult it is helps. Like before, I would like beat myself up because I told you I had like this thought process where this should be simple. Like well, because like mostly like if I was talking about another person, it would be simple. It's just like say these things at this time, don't have a blow up, and you'll be okay. Um, but like when it's happening to you, it's so complicated, especially because each situation is very, very slightly different. It'll be like kind of like we all kind of do the same things, but it's like it's ever so slightly different each and every time, and even like just one factor being off just throws the whole thing off. And like advice that another person might give you that kind of went through the same thing won't even apply, even if just one factor's off. I wish I could think of an example to ground this. um but it's just if you've lived through it, you know what I mean. And I hate saying that because I usually like explaining things, but I just can't think of an example right now. But yeah, I guess recognizing how difficult relationships are is like the first step to like understanding that like there's nothing like wrong with you. Like you just gotta calm down and think about things, and then you'll eventually get there and find some form of resolution. Maybe not the resolution you'd want, but like a resolution, I guess, is better than no resolution. Um, but yeah, I hope you had a good morning, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully with a better haircut. I really don't like this haircut. Yeah. Bye.